I experience the Joe Rogan every day when I see people wearing Shirt of Shadow and Sonic kissing. Hello, and welcome back to Steely Dan 2. Overheard in UniSFA, a UniSFA podcast. I'm John. I've managed to claw my way out of Cam's stomach after he chopped up and ate me last week.
I didn't chop you up. That'd be fucked up, man. You're my
I'm
friend.
here with Cam, who's managed to survive the ordeal.
Yeah.
And I'm also here with, I guess for this week, Luna.
Hello.
I gotta say, if you make another, Band 2 joke, I'm going to start Overheard in UniSFA 2 without you.
Overheard in UniSFA. Hey, welcome back. One of these episodes, I need to feel like, hey, welcome to Overheard in UniSFA 2.
Alright, yeah, I guess that'd work.
Yeah.
I can't start my own band about that because I have no rhythm at all.
I wasn't here last week because I was busy feeling like my favorite WoW classic creature, Sickly Deer. I love Sickly Deer so much.
Who was here last week?
It was you and Texas and Chase.
That's right. I have no idea what's going on.
I edited the podcast specifically to have a bit for you in it.
I've listened to half of it. I haven't managed to finish.
Okay.
I'm so busy this fucking week.
That's fair enough.
I do intend to listen to it though.
Sickly Deer is a creature in WoW classic that spawns in the northern coast. It might spawn in regular WoW. I don't know. I was playing classic when this happened. The northern coast of the Horde continent.
So it's from Sicily.
Yes. What?
It's a Sicilian deer.
Sickly Deer.
Yeah,
it's a deer
it's
that's
pronounced
sick.
Sicily.
This creature looks so funny to me. It's just a little guy with that looks so poorly. The first time I saw it in game, I just started laughing for 5 minutes. I don't know why.
I'm gonna
Pictures will not do it. It's not if you
The
search up
animation?
Sickly Deer. No, it needs to be the specific. When you click on something and WoW, it shows a little head portrait of it.
Yeah.
It's that head portrait in a little circle. It has to be that.
Okay, you can find that, I'm sure.
I can try and find it. Hey, I'm getting good right now.
So is that how you've been feeling, bud?
Yeah, I've been feeling like Sickly Deer.
Fair enough.
I search up Sickly Deer and it comes up with actual sick deer. That's disturbing.
That's fucking sick, dude.
Lee Deer. Luna, have you ever played WoW?
No, I have not.
Okay.
That's
Cam,
probably
have
for
you?
the best. I've played a little bit here and there.
Yeah, same.
My youngest brother got really into it for a while, and I managed to get to the level cap with him at a couple of points. But the thing is that if I'm playing a game like WoW, it consumes me.
Oh yeah.
It's yeah. I really don't do much else, and sometimes in my life that's been very helpful. Sometimes you just got to play a video game and not exist. It's not really an option for me at the moment, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that can be good sometimes. I know sometimes I've definitely been feeling anxious, and I'm we're going to play Call of Duty to, calm down, or, not think of it. And then I'm actually just thinking about it, and then I'm not paying attention to the game. It's fuck.
Yeah. No, oh, man, okay. It turns out something odd about me. I'm really good at video games when I'm absolutely fucked up.
Define fucked up.
So when I had my wisdom teeth out, I was so out of it on the painkillers from post wisdom teeth. In the car home, I'm messaging my friend Jono, not this John, a different John, Jono, because we'd agreed that once I had the wisdom teeth out, we were going to play Smash Bros. I don't know if we actually agreed on this or not. It was just I was like, I want to play Smash Bros. With my friend Jono. And I just messaged him, it's time for mouth smash, and nothing else. And so he didn't know what the fuck I was talking about, and I got home and played Smash Bros. With my brothers, and I was better than them at Smash Bros., which is not unusual, but then they got sick of getting their asses kicked, so I played some War Thunder, and I was really, that was some of the best War Thunder I've played in my life, when I was absolutely incoherent.
This reminds me of the Geordie Olive story. Which I don't think we should tell. We need to get Geordie on the podcast.
All right, look, just if anyone's out there in the audience and you do or do not like olives, just chuck us a message because I got an olive you might like.
I'm
It's
just,
so incoherent, but it's so funny.
I'm just looking at the waveforms, and then John's laugh is appearing in my mic.
Yeah, that's how it is. Look, we're a professional podcasting setup.
We're a
you
professional
can hear
podcasting
everything in here.
company.
You can tell that we're real because you can hear everything that we can hear, and then some other things that we can't hear.
I've been missing being on this podcast, and I have two things I've been thinking about for 2 weeks now, which I need to ramble about. Will you both give me the time?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you explicitly told me not to come here prepared, and the one person I thought would be in this room was in fact not in this room.
I'm in this room.
Yeah, but I didn't know you were going to be here, and I didn't know Cam was going to be
Yeah,
here.
we've
fair.
had a
The
really
only
weird
person
day.
I was assured that was going to be here is
It's
Merlin,
like,
who
I'm
is
not sure I'm going to be here. Merlin might fill in for me, and Cam's like, I'm not going to be there. Merlin might fill in for me, and then both of us ended up being here.
Yep.
Sorry, Merle.
Yeah, and it's been slightly less than 25 hours since I told I was going to be in this podcast,
Yep.
so...
Yeah, we really ran it thin.
Yeah, it's look, it's the end of semester. We're doing up. It's just gonna be like this for a little bit.
I think it's fine.
This time next week, I will be absolutely unable to do the podcast.
Why's that?
I've got an exam next week.
Oh, dang.
I could probably do next week.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, after that, I'm free forever. So,
Forever free.
or at least until next semester.
Okay, the first thing I need to talk about is Filk music.
Filk,
Filk music.
Yeah.
like milk, but with an F.
No, like, did you...
It's fantasy folk music. I think-
mostly.
yeah.
Specifically science fiction folk music, I believe. It might apply to
no,
fantasy as
it's-
well.
I know where
it's-
you've gotten this.
Yeah,
from.
you know the exact event which
No, it's very much fantasy. As
Oh,
well as
really?
sci-fi.
I've only really
Yeah.
been listening to sci-fi, like space
Yeah.
themed ones, so that's where everything this is coming from. It's sci-fi folk music, or like I like the term space shanties as well.
Yeah, Space Shanties is
Yeah,
pretty
that was
good.
a good
Imagine you're singing shanties, except they're not made for being on a like ship sailing the ocean. It's made for a starship going through the stars.
Space is and always has been an ocean.
What?
Space is an ocean.
Of
You don't know
what?
about this? It's like conceptually, right? You don't have your space army. You've got space marines. You get space ships. You've got. It's always described as an ocean.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, fair
It's
enough.
like you've got your space boats.
Yeah, you get your space.
I don't
boats.
understand why all those people in June were like, we're in a desert. Clearly, you're surrounded by an ocean.
Yeah. You can be in a desert surrounded by an ocean.
Yeah, that's
Like
what
a desert
Antarctica
island.
is.
Deserted island, yeah.
That's what Antarctica is. A
Yeah?
desert surrounded by an ocean.
True.
Yeah.
If you're stuck on a desert island, what would you bring with you in brackets? If you're stuck on a desert island in brackets June,
If I was stuck on Arrakis, fuck. I mean, water. Like, you got anything other than water is like, well, you picked the wrong thing. I guess like a still suit.
I'd bring a spaceship with fuel.
Nah, I can't carry that. It's too heavy, John.
Have you ever considered it might be able to carry you?
Well, it's not me bringing it. That's it bringing me, isn't it?
Well, no,
If I was a spaceship and I could bring one thing, it'd be me.
okay, they drop you off on a larger spaceship.
So I'm just in the spaceship still, though. So they're dropping off the other spaceship and I'm in it, is what you're saying. So it bought me still.
No,
That's what happens in
you're
Dune,
on a-
by the way. You get in a bigger ship in your ship, and you're not allowed to do anything inside that ship.
You're in a large ship, and then they like beam you down. I don't fucking know how June works. They
They
drop
drop off the ship that you're in. from their
they
bigger ship.
throw the ship and also you out of the larger ship. You are not in the
Separately?
smaller ship. Yeah, separately.
Right, so I didn't bring it. It's just also there.
You are tied with a little like bunch.
If I'm stuck on a desert island and they can drop one thing off for me, what would it be? That's a different question, though.
You're tied with like a little like cord like they have for surfboards to the
Right.
to the spaceship.
So I've been killed. So you get thrown off a ship to your death onto a desert planet.
It's only like a couple meters.
Dude, I'm
That-
not built to last.
No, I have fallen 0 meters and severely hurt.
I've
I'm
fallen
tied to a
15
ship that
centimeters.
big. A ship that big falling a couple meters is a big deal. My bones aren't there anymore, bud.
It's just falling like beside you though.
Yeah, and then once it hits the ground, Cam...
Right, and is this
Cam
before or
goes-
after I've declared the ship is the thing that I'm bringing?
Huh? This is They drop you off with the ship, and you're like, okay, I'm bringing this ship to a deserted island. I choose this.
Well, at that point, I'd pick something else. They've given me the ship, haven't they? I didn't bring it. They
I
did.
pick water. They're flying away. Fuck.
I'm just trying to think of a coherent thing in our thought exercise, but I keep thinking of Factorial, because this is just the plot of Factorial, except you get nothing.
Yeah, all right.
I guess it's the plot. If you were stranded on a desert island, what would you bring? Nothing. I've played Factoria.
You get stranded on a desert island, and they're like, "Well, you get one. We'll give you one thing if we're going to strand you here." And you're like, "All right, I'll take this." And they're like, "Haha, it was a
I
trick.
feel like the one thing
you get nothing."
What was the point of you?
It was a cruel jest.
You dastardly villains!
Get
You got
fucking
me one
jonkered.
more time. You know, this whole story of getting stranded on a desert island is the exact kind of story you'd see in Filk music. The catalyst for this was Jade, friend of the show, posting this on was it the
Lancer chat,
server?
yeah.
We're playing Lancer, big surprise.
Well, hopefully, right? We're getting there.
It was a really good Filk song.
Quick plug for someone. The Lancer campaign I'm running in Golden Flame. I'm playtesting it technically. The Kickstarter is live today. So if you're out there and you're interested in kickstarting a campaign for Lancer, because that's a thing someone out there listening might want, let me know. I'll send you a link to the In Golden Flame Kickstarter.
God, we sure do promote a lot of things for absolutely no money.
I've been promoting this one thing only for like several episodes.
Fair enough. The song that was sent, and I still think it's like one of the best ones I've heard so far, is called, what was it called? Pushing the Speed of Light?
Oh yeah, no, it's good.
Pushing the Speed of Light on the album Space Heroes and Other Fools. It tells the story of a man who, he's a young, fit, strong man, decides to sign up for 4 months doing space, shipping.
I love space, but it is a terrible place, and you should never go there.
All the songs I found, like so many of the songs of Filk, are usually very tragic.
Yeah.
They're most often tragedies.
It's because space is an ocean. You know what happens on the ocean that's good? Nothing. It's horrific. That's why it's so romantic.
Yeah. Good way of putting that.
Yeah.
They're either tragedies, silly, or silly tragedies. If they're silly, they're usually quite horny.
That's how it is with songs. The sillier the
Yeah.
song, the greater the chance that it's very horny.
Yeah. It tells the story of a young man who goes shipping near the speed of light, hence pushing the speed of light. Shipping is referred to as pushing. And he goes 2 months there, 2 months back. He gets back. Due to relativity, 20 years has passed.
Yep.
All his friends gone. All his family gone. All his
Everyone's
his
forgotten him,
part-
and he's a man out of time.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, I guess I'll do it fucking again.
Yeah, may as well do another shift, right?
I'll do one more, get some more money. He goes across, and then that turns into another 2, another 3, another 4. He's gone across the galaxy, but he's like out of time. He's out of the.
It's been a couple of years for him.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years, but no matter
Everything's
where he
different.
goes, everything goes much faster. So it tells of how he's had many kids, and he sees them all grow up and then die, and he just can't stop pushing, and he's just out of the loop of time. And eventually, he wishes to hit the speed of light and then go back in time to experience, where he started from, his beginning. But he knows even when that happens, he'll eventually go back to pushing the speed of light. Anyway, really good song.
Yeah, no, it is.
There's some other good albums. If any of you are interested in it, Carmen Miranda's Ghost, Space Heroes and Other Fools.
That Cameron Anders Ghost is the one I listened to. That
It's
was
really
sci-fi.
good.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite song on it?
I don't. It's been so long since I
Fair
listened to
enough.
it.
I was listening to it pretty recently. I think Where No Man is another album. I was also listening to an album called T-10 and Counting or something, which is it's not about sci-fi. It's about actual space programs and stuff.
Yeah.
Not me this morning crying to the Ballad of Apollo 13.
Yeah. One of the things I've read that is really interesting is that they be a genuine reason for space sea shanties to exist in a spacefaring civilization,
Oh?
which is that when you push the speed of light, time dilation becomes a big deal. So for people to coordinate between each other across the ship, which may be experiencing different time dilations, they sing the space sea shanty, because then they are all synchronized to the same song. Because like they can't rely on instruments because they're directly affected by the time dilation, and like rhythm and song is so ingrained in humans that it's something we could keep constant over changing time dilation.
Oh, that's fucking sick.
All right, I'm gonna go into the science of why that is wrong, and then take it further to a place where it's cool again.
Okay.
Because I think fuck Neil deGrasse Tyson, right?
Isn't it Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Dude, I don't fucking know. It's pronounced like the high school on the television show, as far as I'm aware.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
In any case, if you're gonna be like, science says that you can't do this cool thing, take it a step further and be like, here's how to do something fun though. Fuck. Like, also do your goddamn research into why, like, how things work. Don't just be like, that sci-fi thing doesn't work because that's not possible. Be like, well, like, they've invented some things that makes it. It's also different. He doesn't understand how lightsabers are meant to work in setting, and he's like, that's not how light works. I'm like, yeah, they're not light. They're not.
It's just not.
They're magnetically contained plasma in a loop. It's like a chainsaw. That's why you can't wield it normally, because it's spinning, so it's gyroscopic.
Huh.
Right? This is some shit that you would never know, but he's just like, no, light wouldn't just stop like that. And I'm like, fuck off. Anyway, where I'm going with this, everyone on the ship should be experiencing the same time dilation, because they're all accelerating at the same speed on the ship, right?
I hope listeners at home understand
Relativity?
the theory of relativity, yeah.
Basically, as you go faster, time gets squanched.
Fair enough.
You're catching up to the time. It's not technically how it works, but it's the best way to think about it, is that you're going so fast that time, you catch up with it. You're moving at the same speed it is, almost. Yeah. And so you experience less of it because you're catching up. That's not actually how it works, but that's close enough that you won't go wrong. But yeah, the idea of some kind of, like, because you can get exotic effects that would cause that dilation and things, especially if you're using a gravity drive of some kind. Yeah, like any kind of weird thing where you'd get zones where there is time dilation. You're right, that's a fucking cool concept.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right, humans are built to, like, rhythm and music is so ingrained in our brains in such a weird way.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's most of the bit.
I think another thing you've reminded me of is the
distracted.
whole, like, localized gravity, because it's such a common thing in every sci-fi, right? It's taken for granted that you've got, like, some sort of invented gravity on your ship, but, like, how fucking hard would that be, right?
So it depends what you're doing, right? So, I mean, The Expanse does it pretty well. Have you seen The Expanse?
No, I haven't. I've heard that's really good, though.
It's pretty good. I quite like it. I haven't finished it yet, but it's pretty good. The gravity is usually because your ship's accelerating, and so the decks are placed vertically, like along the direction the ship is traveling.
Oh.
So when you're going to a place, you accelerate towards it, and so you've got gravity because you're accelerating that way.
It's like an elevator.
And then halfway around, you turn around and start accelerating to slow down, and so you have gravity the other direction. That works. The issue is that if you're accelerating at 1g, which is the amount that will feel normal, it's not very fast.
So
it's really slow, actually.
But since acceleration is constant, not velocity, you keep stacking up velocity, so over exceedingly long distances.
Yeah, over exceedingly long distance. Yeah, but like
that exceedingly long.
The thing is that space is more exceedingly big.
Yeah.
Space is so fucking big. Goddamn.
Yeah, this is why sci-fi uses faster than light drives.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah. There's the drive in oh gosh, the name of the thing I was just talking about, The Expanse. It just left. I just lost it. Yeah. It is. They made it by accident, and it's just very fast. But yeah, it's. Yeah, you have to either be able to generate gravity or dampen gravity, like dampen acceleration, or you got some slow fucking acceleration on anything larger than a planetary system scale. The Expanse is on a planetary system scale, to be fair, but even then it's like distances it's nuts.
Okay, I think it's time. I had the other thing I wanted to talk about, which I could go on for a long time, is I've been playing Deathloop recently.
Oh yeah, I've heard about Deathloop.
Me too. I've had it I've had it.
Oh
in
yeah,
my
I've heard
eye
about
for a
Deathloop.
while. I was looking at it for a while. It's made
Oh
by.
yeah, I've heard about Deathloop. I'm sorry,
You're too funny.
You gotta do the bit.
It's made by Arcane Studios, who made like Dishonored and Prey and shit.
Yeah.
And it was a cool concept. I watched the trailer. I'm like, okay, cool trailer. I'll get that at some point. And then didn't consume any content about it.
Yeah, I
it
have
was
no idea
on-
what Deathloop is about.
It's on.
I don't.
Okay, well,
I know the basic concepts. Like I've seen I'm in a similar situation here, but I didn't purchase Deathloop.
Okay, I've got like two parts to talking about Deathloop, and that is talking about what Deathloop is and talking about what Deathloop isn't. Deathloop is it's a first-person shooter.
It's a BioShock, right?
It's a somewhat single-player first-person shooter, where the premise is you are on an island, and they have set up a time loop on this island.
Hold on. What object did you bring with you to the island?
Like some clothes.
Spaceship.
I wish. I think there are
Water.
There are some other ships. It's kind of it's still Dishonored-y, and it's like kind of steampunky. It's more like 70s.
It's a BioShock.
It's more like it's a little. It feels a little more modern.
Yeah.
Than like BioShock or Dishonored. It's not Prey. It's not sci-fi, and it has like a distinct kind of style of an era of time. I cannot quite put my head on.
It's
Somewhere
that
between the 50s.
retrofuturism, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little retrofuturism, I'd say.
Yeah, like very Jetsons-y.
Yeah.
A little bit like some of what Fallout is.
Some of what Fallout is. The aesthetic is hard to describe.
I know the one though, yeah.
But the concept is there is a time loop set up on this island.
Oh, I bet that the time loop doesn't have any negative consequences for anyone, and that's why the game is not called something like Fun Loop.
I don't actually know. Your character is... like this time loop has been set up by...
It's called the Death Loop, ironically.
Well, the point is that like you die and then you loop, you know.
No, it's
in the
fine,
game.
man. Nothing ever goes
it's
wrong
been set
in
up by like
Deathloop.
this company called Aeon. There's a bunch of people who are like, you know, who have helped construct this time loop.
Usually
and
is.
also constructed these buildings on this island. And there's like a little cult. So they've set up this time loop, and then basically a bunch of people have come, and they're like, "Sweet, we can just live forever, partying every day." That's the plot. There's a cult. They basically they want to keep the time loop going and party and do whatever they fucking want every day.
So basically, those people that go, "Hey, Groundhog Day is actually pretty cool because you could just do whatever you want in the time loop."
Yes. However,
and then they executed it with that as the plan.
Yes. Yeah. It's interesting to know in this time loop, most people don't remember the day resetting.
Okay.
So they are living the same day. It's quite fun seeing some like smart NPCs, like the chief scientist, be like, I think I've done this before.
I think I'm in the loop.
It's like this is the first day, but my sensors are telling me actually it's been the first day for a while. But you are Colt, who is the chief of security, and you have decided for some reason that I've not yet discovered that he needs to actually shut down the loop. He's not cool with this.
You don't really need a reason to shut down the loop. It's like, shit, I got something to do tomorrow.
The thing is,
payday's tomorrow. Fuck this.
He was the chief of security, so he supported it for a while, but for some reason, you're not doing it. So, what you need to do is you need to kill 8 people, which are these visionaries. If you kill all 8 of them, the loop will shut down. But you need to do it in one day. Yeah. And you're on an entire fucking island. So, the game is, you need to try and work out how to get to all and kill all of them in one day.
Yeah.
There are 4 maps, and each you can visit at 4 different times during the day. So, it's like, there's not that many places to explore, but it does something kind of interesting of...
Yeah, the different
You go
times.
to a place at different times, and different things will happen. And you find new things that'll happen and whatnot. So, like, I found this guy, and he's like, I'm going to give I store my fireworks at this place, and you go to that place, and the fireworks are locked behind. He's like, there's a note that says I'm giving the code to this guy at this time, and you go to that guy at that time. It's like, his house is burned down, so you have to go to it earlier to stop it from burning down. Like,
That's a cool,
It's a
neat
cool
neat little quest line concept.
It is pretty cool. New areas of the map open up at certain times. There's a little island off the coast of, or next to one map, which opens up during the specific time. The guy's got a little like live action role playing game going there, which was quite funny because it's like space themed. It's kind of Among Us ish, but like live action. You have to do like these quests, and then one player is the invader, and if you go into
I like a Dark Souls.
yes, maybe. If you go up to it, it's like, welcome to the game. Your role is the invader, which is the role that kills people. So you go in there and you start killing people, which is kind of funny. That game is also run by a guy. Specifically, the guy had a bit of his brain cut out and put into a robot.
God, I wish that was me.
And that robot runs the game. And it's funny because that robot is one of the few characters who can remember things between time loops. So you kill the guy, he doesn't remember you, but the bit of his brain in a robot remembers. It's like, you killed my master last loop. Fuck you. The other interesting thing about the game is one of the characters, the other character, like, important character who can remember time, is trying to kill you, and this takes the place of once per, like, day, randomly, another player can enter your game and try and kill you.
Yeah.
Which
That's very Dark Souls,
I'm suddenly playing my single player game, and then all of a sudden, this person's just like, oh, this person has the same abilities and guns as me, and I don't know where they are.
Yep.
And I just panic for a bit.
I don't know where you are either.
True.
Well,
I've yet to die to this person, to another player. Also, it might use an AI sometimes. I'm not sure. I don't know how many people are playing. But it's fucking intense going in and being like, oh my god.
Suddenly it's a
I
PvP
run around like a headless chicken for like 2 minutes and then I encounter them. And you can't leave the level until you've like done this specific task, which requires you to stay in one location for a while. But if you kill them, you get a bunch of benefits. I got a good gun off one. I also got a gun which is a one-shot kill gun, which you can shoot pretty fast. And its gimmick is usually the gun has like one bullet in the chamber. You got to reload every time. But this gun has like a special ability called Silver Bullet. If you hit someone with the gun, which will usually kill them, it doesn't use the one ammo. However, if you miss, you can't reload. You can't use it again for the rest of the mission.
Right.
However, I also got an upgrade which gets around that, because how it implements that is you just can't pick up ammo for this gun anywhere, and you can't store any ammo in reserves. However, I've gone around this by there's an upgrade which means when you melee kill someone, you get ammo, and this gives me ammo for it. So I just have this overpowered gun that I'm supposed to not be able to reload. Yeah, basically. I just think it's very interesting going around different places, different locations, finding out things. However, I think the game. Another interesting thing, which leads into the point I was about to make, is when you loot, you lose all your gear and upgrades, which I think I was like, man, this is really interesting. So like maybe like you have to work out where to go to get good loot, right? At the
But
start,
it's random
of
every
each
time,
run.
isn't it?
It's not really.
Okay.
Like there are certain places like where to find legendary weapons, or certain like characters who will drop certain guns or whatnot, or places get good items and whatnot. I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. You can like try and you're not figuring out just like where these people are. You need to try and figure out the best route and like where these people are and when. You need to figure out a route, but then it introduces very quickly a mechanic which is like, oh, you can collect this like essence which lets you store items between
between runs,
and it's not that hard to get. So I've done like one run and I've got like my full loadout, and I'm like, okay, well it's cool mechanic, guys. It doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, that's a little rough.
So that leads me to my second point of this whole rant, which is Deathloop is good, but it feels like it doesn't have the guts of...
Yeah, they didn't have the cojones to stick to it.
They're not Outer Wilds, Do either of you know Outer Wilds?
I know of it.
I've watched a playthrough of the first game.
Yes, I've also watched a playthrough of the first game. Like, because Deathloop doesn't do Outer Wilds of chuck you in a place, give you a time limit, and be like, figure it out. It, like, you know, you go to different missions at different levels, you can change your loadout between things. Like, it's just kind of...
It's
kind of just like classic Goose Chase. But Outer Wilds, God, what a game. I'm going to tell the audience about Outer Wilds now.
All right.
Outer Wilds is a space mystery exploration game, which I think is could very easily be the best game of all time.
What about Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005, John? You forgot about Star Wars Battlefront 2 2005, John.
Equal best game of all time.
All right,
I think out of every category except for perhaps cultural influence, because that would be like Tetris or Minecraft or something.
Yeah.
Outer Wilds is the best game of all time. Actually, okay, Minecraft is a good argument. No, even then, Outer Wilds is the best game of all time. What it is, the plot of it is you are in a universe, you are a creature, I don't know, alien thing. You have 20 minutes and then the universe dies. So you have 20 minutes to work out how...
I was not thinking of Outer Wilds.
You're thinking of the Outer Worlds?
I think so.
Yes, they both were released at the same time and they were space themed. The Outer Wilds is a game where... Are you also thinking of the Outer Worlds?
No, I was thinking of
Horizon Zero Dawn?
That, yes.
Okay, neither of you were thinking of Outer Wilds.
No, it sounds cool, though. I'm on board.
So good. So,
That's why
you're in a time loop. You have...
Yeah, you got 20 minutes and you gotta fucking get it.
Yeah, so it gives you a tutorial, it puts you in the time loop, you wake up, you've got 20 minutes to work out, and then you die and you do it again.
That's just me at the gym.
You die, you do it again. The only thing you keep between is information and knowledge, which...
Well, that's a lot more important than this new Lamborghini here.
So I'm waking up in my garage.
I only got 20 minutes to save the universe.
And the universe, as we
Wasted
know...
15 of it driving up here in the Hollywood Hills.
I store all the knowledge between loops in this bookshelf I have in my garage. Oh my fucking god.
You're in my time loop. I'm so sorry.
The only thing you keep is information, and it makes like the best kind of mystery game ever. I didn't play Outer Wilds. I watched a playthrough of it, but I still like the impact of the game still hit me.
Yeah, all right.
I bought the DLC, but I haven't played that yet. But it does so many interesting things with that as well. There is, for example, all the planets are unique and have these weird quirks and often change over the 20 minutes. For example, one of the planets, the Ash Twin, is this like kind of Mars-like planet that's full of caves. And over the course of the 20 minutes, sand slowly fills up the caves such that there's less of it to explore.
It's just like a metaphor.
What?
It's identical to a metaphor. It's like this was a joke, but it's like an hourglass filling with sand, right? It's a cool bit.
The thing about that is that the Ash Twin is a twin planet to the...
Remarkably like a similar
the Ember
in many
Twin.
ways.
Actually, no, I was thinking of Ember Twin. Ash Twin...
Is the other one in that binary planet system?
Ash Twin is the one that is completely made of sand that funnels its sand to the other one like an hourglass. Can you guess what these twin planets are called?
No.
It's the Hourglass Twins.
Right.
So there is a giant...
Did you have a bit? Okay,
there's a giant sand geyser putting the sand from one of the planets, which then slowly...
I think sand guys are pretty cool.
It slowly gets smaller over the 20 minutes, and more like ruins get uncovered, and the other one fills up with sand. So you explore it, but also it's slowly getting filled up that you can't explore it anymore. Also, you'll die because the sand will crush you if you stay in a bit for too long.
I'm built different.
The other thing is, like, this solar system you're in was inhabited by an alien species, by like that specifically came here, and you got to figure out what were they looking. Why did they come here? What were they looking for?
This sounds cool as hell. Don't tell me how this ends.
I'm absolutely not.
This, yeah.
The thing about this game is that you can literally finish it in 5 minutes because
you know
what to do. You literally do the thing, and then the game's over. the entire game is figuring out what to do, and you can do it all just through, like chance and like not even going to a specific place to work something out.
Yeah, the playthrough I watched, the person couldn't get through this section, and he was going, I wonder whether I eventually get something that stays between loop, which lets me get past the barrier.
No.
The answer is no.
The answer is no.
And the thing, you get knowledge, and the thing is, the knowledge of how to do this thing was in the tutorial section.
Oh, that's really funny. Oh, I think I might know what you're referring to. But yes, literally, it is so genius in putting barriers up.
That are only knowledge
based. I think the funnest thing about this is, like, it introduces it has, like, it's a sci-fi game. It has different laws of the universe, like, I believe, like, quantum laws, which you learn. You're literally learning, like, the science of this solar system and then applying it to get to new places.
That is fun.
So you can cover all sorts of mysteries and go to all sorts of places. Like, oh my god, it's so good. Some of, like, the puzzles.
So if you're doing a time loop, fucking commit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking commit to it. Like, Deathloop, good game, but, like, does it have the time loop guts? No.
I think in general, right, if you're gonna do a thing, right, if you're gonna have, like, a main theme, core, cool thing that your thing does, fucking commit to it. Nothing's worse than when you're doing a thing as your, like, main concept for a game or for a story, whatever it is, right? And you're like, yeah, but we don't really have the confidence in that thing, though. That's optional, though.
Yeah.
It's just, it's weak.
I think Deathloop, good game. It uses the time loop in an interesting way and to make, like, an interesting kind of game mechanics. And it is similar to Outer Wilds in that you're gaining information in each one, and that's kind of the main thing. But, like, oh my god, Outer Wilds, so fucking good. Another planet in Outer Wilds, Brittle Hollow, slowly breaks apart over the course of the game, and the bits that break apart go into a black hole.
This is just like in Homestuck.
Yes. Fuck. Is it a little...
Void Session, or is it Null Session? One of the two.
No,
the one that's billiards.
Yeah, the billiards one. Yeah. The thing about Outer Wilds is I want to keep talking about it, but literally, like, if you spoil Outer Wilds, it's not like, I guess. If you spoil Outer Wilds, literally the game is unplayable. I cannot play the game because I watched a playthrough of it, but I now can because there's a DLC.
Well, I haven't fucking seen shit. I didn't even know this was a thing, so I'm going to
go into it without knowing anything.
That's my plan for next weekend.
The one other thing I want to point out in this game is there is a way to break the universe, and therefore, which, like, ends the game.
There always is.
Yeah, because there's some funky physics things, and watching this
I do love exploiting funky physics.
What if you do this, and it's like, I've just
you fucked it.
Fundamentally broken the laws of the universe, and then the game, like,
crashes to desktop.
Almost, yeah.
Nice. I love it when games crash you to desktop. Okay,
it doesn't actually crash your desktop, but it would be way funny if it did.
I was playing the Dark Tide beta over the weekend a little bit when I was done with studying. The game's fun. I'm sure other people have talked about it, but it was just a very like, pre-release beta experience. Apparently the build was from August, so it's a couple months old. It's a couple months old even now. You couldn't quit the game, right? The quit game button crashed you to desktop. Like, that works.
It works.
Gets the job done. Granted, you almost never needed to do that because it would usually crash on you before that anyway. But like, it was very unstable. But that's it was what it is for a beta. God, I was in the Discord for it. So many people were so upset that it wasn't, like, smooth and clean and nothing. Everyone was like, I'm like, dude, it's a month before it fucking drops.
The curse of betas.
Shit's not going to work.
It's not done yet.
If it was done, they'd have released it.
The thing about betas, though, is, like, sure, it's a beta. You've got, like, you're working on it. You want people to play it and improve. But also, if you do an open beta, that is everyone's first impression of the game, and you better expect it to leave a lasting mark.
It wasn't like quite an open beta, though.
It was
closed. It was a second
beta.
Closed beta. Yeah. I missed the first one.
I think with betas, it's a lot. I know the thing that
Spur beta went alright.
Yeah. Spur beta. Actually, I don't know if Spur beta did go very good.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people got killed by the missiles, but sorry, by the meteors.
Right.
But
That was going to happen anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was going to happen anyway.
I know
That's how it is.
Titanfall 2 had a beta, which everyone thought was really bad.
That's right.
And then they fixed a lot of the issues that people pointed out in the beta. Because everyone thought it was bad, it didn't do very
And
well.
I've
It was
heard very
actually
good things about Titanfall 2. I missed that whole bus.
Yeah, I was
I
pretty...
never really got to get into that. Which
was
is
really
sad,
into
because
it
apparently it was really, really good.
There's
And
community
like,
service
what
for
I
it.
played of Titanfall 1 was very fun. I didn't have a computer that could run it at the time.
There's community service for Titanfall 2 if you want to get on there.
Yeah, it's
It's
probably a bit late now.
Yeah.
Apparently the story is really good for the single player, though.
Oh
so
yeah,
maybe I
go
should
play the
get it.
single player. It's got some very interesting like level design.
I like that there's big old robots, and it was one of the pioneers for first-person shooters with parkour systems.
Yeah, it really was.
Well, at least like Titanfall 1 was, but yeah,
I think was there really how much parkour was there in like
in games before that, or
not
much.
in FPS games at least. Like
None
there
that
was,
I can
there was like Mirror's
think
Edge.
Like,
of.
TF2, not at
None.
all. Like, Scout and
I mean, to be
rocket
fair,
jumping.
TF2 was a good like decade before Titanfall 1, right? Or maybe not a whole decade, but a good few years.
Yeah, TF2 was a little bit before TF2.
Yeah, fuck.
And then Overwatch is after Titanfall.
I think the
Yeah,
main
Overwatch Without Titanfall
the main,
has only a couple of characters that can do a little parkour.
the main thing I associate with parkour is like I think a lot of like the Call of Duty
Yeah,
games
Call of
that
Duty
came
picked it
after.
up after a bit.
Yeah.
But they don't really have that anymore. People didn't like it.
Yeah, well, because it
People want the
it
boots on the
changes-
ground.
Well, it. All right, you want to get into a game design talk?
Oh
for a
yeah,
bit?
sure.
Yes.
So your ability to parkour like that really changes what is a fun time to kill value, right? If your character is hypermobile, you need to have a time to kill that is shortened. Like you need to like lower your time to kill a little bit because otherwise people can just leave, and that's no fun. But if it's too short, then you get the issue of that anyone can be anywhere at any time and just fucking end you. It's really hard to manage.
Basically, on one end, you instantly die to someone you couldn't see because they just popped up. On the other end, you can't kill anyone because they just leave.
Yeah.
Cam, I don't know if you've played Call of Duty. That game's time to kill is already insanely short.
Yes.
And I think another thing with Call of Duty is that a lot of what their audience likes is their high precision gameplay. Like,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm
Call of
wrong,
Duty is
but
renowned for its gunplay.
yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no such thing as gun spread in that game. You only got the recoil pattern.
No, I
that's-
think there is spread.
It depends on the Call of Duty, I think.
yeah. Because like recoil pattern's always like a CS thing to me.
Yeah. So,
I feel like there was
yeah,
spread.
I am confusing it with CS:GO.
no, CS, you couldn't do parkour in CS. It'd
Yeah.
fucking break everything. Part
Yeah.
of CS is the whole, like... CS is... Counter-Strike is an old fucking game now,
so
and it really shows its age. I'm like, I like some aspects of it. I'm like, it's not... It's so... It's clunky. And it feels slow and methodical, which is intentional, but I don't know, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I played a bit of it. It's like I feel like, despite the precision being better, I am playing a clunkier character.
Yeah.
And like I played
It's-
Overwatch. I play snipers in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Or the support sniper. And like,
You do play a lot of Ana. You're very good at it. Thank you for continuing to heal me.
Yeah.
I'm just the thing about CS now is I play it. I'm like, this is like Valorant but harder.
Well, it's very... CS is... I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought a lot today. It has a thing that it does, and it doesn't have any bells and whistles. Other games have their Counter-Strike mode, right? Like Destiny used to have a Counter-Strike mode.
What?
As one of the competitive playlist, which is now just a mode I don't like. It used to have a Counter-Strike mode, which I liked because it was a little bit
you, like,
of
buy
having an
things?
objective. No, but like the way that you've got a bomb plant
I feel
situation.
like search and destroy, which
Yeah,
is
search and destroy from COD. That kind of there's a one team has to stop you from planting a bomb. The other team has to plant a
I
bomb.
feel like the whole economy system of CS is also like pretty.
Yeah, that's its own thing.
I feel like
unique.
it's another like kind of like core aspect to it, which is, like you can have like search and destroy kind of bomb modes, but that's like only half of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, Counter-Strike's whole in-game economy hard to make work in the modern sphere with the way that games are financed now.
No, I didn't mean like skins. I meant like
No, and that's what I mean. Like the way that the game is purely skins is the only thing you buy, right? Like
No, I meant
there's no long term.
No, I meant like when you play a game of Counter-Strike, your character has an amount of money that you use to buy guns.
No, that's what I'm saying. There's no long term progression. There's in game like you start a round of Counter-Strike, you have the exact same footing as everyone else, and you earn money by killing people usually.
Yeah, okay. I thought you were talking about...
No. I'm talking in-game economy. Like
okay. Okay. Yes, no, I know what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, sorry. I think we're
getting
agreeing.
so
we're
confused.
just being... Yeah.
I mean, you can... I feel like you're tying into monetization, were you?
So I think that the way that Counter-Strike works now, which is that the only monetization is purely cosmetic stuff, that everyone like is still on the same footing at all times. It's not even like you turn up with the loadout and you're like, okay, I've purchased this gun skin in advance, I'm going to use this gun. It's you turn up with a pistol, you can buy things as you earn them, resets every round. That's a little harder to do in the modern...
I don't think it's too hard.
No.
Like, I'm going to point to Valorant again and be like, they made a Counter-Strike clone. Well, it's not a clone. It's like, it's the same core game.
I thought that Valorant was a bit more of an Overwatch, wasn't it?
Okay, so to explain Valorant to you, imagine Counter-Strike, except instead of grenades, you have abilities. You pick a character.
You're more mobile, though, right?
You pick a character at this right, and then that character has specific abilities which you buy instead of grenades. So instead of like in Counter-Strike, you can buy a flashbang, a smoke, incendiary grenades,
like a
HE
MOBA.
grenades. No, it's very much still Counter-Strike at its core. Instead of buying, smoke, flashbang thing, you pick a character at the start, and this character might have a flashbang, a smoke kind of wall they can throw up, and also like a Molotov.
So everyone gets like throwable abilities that you can purchase.
Yes. So like each character has different abilities. So one character has like a couple dash abilities and a smoke grenade, and another character might have smoke grenade, but many characters have a smoke ability, but they all kind of work differently.
Yeah.
A smoke ability and a Molotov ability and what's the other one? Like another ability which like boosts rate of fire, that kind of thing.
Buffs and stuff.
So it's still very much Counter-Strike, but the kind of rather than in grenades, you have like
weird
abilities
shit.
which are specific to.
But do you purchase guns the same way?
Yes,
Oh,
exactly
okay,
the
neat.
same.
I've
It's got the
done
same
that.
economy
All right.
system and like round system and bomb defusal system. It is very much Counter-Strike, but like you're kind of characterized and abilityized grenades. I keep calling them grenades. I'm just saying that because you don't have grenades in Valorant.
You purchase your utilities.
You have utility. The utility is your character abilities, and there's not that many. Yeah. And then you do have ultimate abilities as well, which every time you like get a kill, die, or like do some other things, it like puts like a point in.
Yeah.
And then when you get to a certain amount,
So it is. Yeah, it's a little bit moby.
it's a little bit Overwatchy. It's kind of like
The way you're describing it, I feel like if you put an Overwatch character in a CS:GO game.
I feel like I still feel like it's kind of
good?
like I'd say it's quite good. It's quite fun. If you enjoyed CS:GO, you'll enjoy this.
Didn't really is the thing.
Yeah.
No, I could
I
never
find
get
the gunplay is a little different and a little more. It
like
can be a
good
bit more
gunplay.
satisfying. I don't know. Give it a go. It's free.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's kind of like CS:GO mixed with Overwatch, but I'd say it's more like 80% CS:GO, 20% Overwatch. Like it's CS at its core.
I'm getting old. I'm starting to lose my eyesight and my ability to twitch shoot.
It's also like it's also a little easier to spot people in that game.
Playing Overwatch with John, I'm playing Anna, who's a sniper character, and half the time my eyes are closed because I physically can't keep my eyes on the screen for
I
the
meant to
whole
get
game.
my eyes checked months ago. There's so much shit I have to
I
have done
haven't
this
had my
semester, I
eyes
haven't
checked.
done.
Like I literally can't remember the last time I had my eye checked.
Well, the only upside of my exam being in study week is that I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just going to do a bunch of shit during exams when the uni's still technically open.
Fair enough.
Video games. I love them.
You can't live with them, can't live without them.
It's like, I just remember one of the games at the end that someone made a comment how Widowmaker sucked, and I was going, and our Anna, who had her eyes closed half of the game, didn't.
Wasn't
No
I
one's-
the
no one's-
Widowmaker in
Yeah,
that
you were the
game?
Widowmaker.
I was doing fine.
Yeah, you
Yeah, no, it wasn't a comment on your ability in video games.
Rude.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. To be fair, no one's going to complain about somebody who's shooting healing darts at them. Well, like, best
You're going
case,
to
they're
complain
gonna
about
be-
someone who is shooting healing darts not at them, though.
Yeah, you can complain about the enemy armor, sure.
Oh, God. I just remember me shooting, not healing Lucille bullets at people because my muscle memory is so strong.
I remember you commenting about how you were watching me play Widowmaker and I was shooting, and you were very confused at why my bullets weren't healing.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that is
Yeah,
unnamed.
it's like, I saw the bullet go through a team, and it's like, wait, bullets aren't supposed to do that.
Spectacular. Yeah, no, muscle memory in games is so odd. So I think my favorite muscle memory, bit, Destiny 2, the three main classes each have their own kind of jump. Titan, you get like a little jetpack. Warlocks, you float, which is similar to jetpack in a lot of ways, but you gotta activate it when you're going the direction you want to be going. The Titan, you can wait till you're falling and then hit the jetpack and you'll float. If you wait till you're falling down as the Warlock, you go down floating.
Oh.
And the Hunter gets a double jump, and they can upgrade it to a triple jump if they can switch it to a triple jump.
Gets a double jump, which you can modify a bit.
There's
and
like
one of them is a triple
there's a
jump.
sub.
There's sub jump classes.
Yes.
So one of the Hunters is triple jump. That's what a lot of people use because it's fun. But I'm used to playing the Titan, and so as the Titan and the Warlock, those are similar enough. I'm fine with those. There's a section in an old raid where you have to jump from one like little barricade of cover to the next, right? And they're quite close together, and you're being thrown into the air about it. Like, you're being pushed forward, and if you go past the one you're trying to stop at, you'll just keep flying until you die. And so you want to just do, like, a little jump and get to the next side and then stop. And so I'll jump, and then my Titan brain goes, all right, so for jump control, not to, like, I'm going to, get some control, I'm going to float the way I want to, I'm going to activate my jetpack. So I hit the jump button again when I was doing this raid on all of the classes for a while. So I jump again, and I go, oh no, I'm too high up, turn off jetpack, hit that jump button again, baby. I'm fucking 20 meters in the air, floating off into space, like, oh, I see what happened.
That would work. No, that wouldn't.
This got me so many times.
If you're on Warlock, it would cancel the jump.
Oh yeah, Warlock would be fine, but when I was playing, this is why I think Hunters have the worst jump for me. And I know that's not true, everyone loves the Hunter jump, because it's a cool triple jump, but I'm like, no, it just gets me killed. Because if I, because I use the Titan jump non-stop for control. And yeah, anytime I try and do that, the muscle memory on triple jump is, I've gone too high, hit jump again. To turn off the jetpack, to stop floating. I'm going up when I don't want to. The usual response to that is to jump.
Everyone's favorite jump is just the jump they use the most, because my favorite is Warlock Balance Glide.
This is the only exception is people who main Blink, because those people are insane.
Okay, do they exist?
Yeah, oh, they try to.
Mostly PvP players. Because
Yeah, okay,
No,
that's fair.
you get the occasional PvE Blink main, and they are terrifying, because they are living, like, you can't predict where that Blink's going to go always. Sometimes you just get fucked. But if you can get good enough with the Blink that you can predict it well enough, it's terrifying to behold. And
Maybe
yeah,
I
you're
should
right, in
become
PvP
a
it's spooky
pro
as hell.
PvE Blink player.
Good fucking luck, buddy.
I've heard that if you want to get good at Blink, you actually need to do it 182 times, and then you get the hang of it. Search up Blink 182 for more.
Aren't they back? Aren't Blink 182 back or something?
They released a new song. Apparently, it's garbage.
Yeah, all right.
They released an album like a couple of years ago or something. Apparently, this is not very good either.
They just released it.
They just
It's
released
broken
new
containment. Yeah. Fucking jumps.
Luna, as our guest, I'm gonna use the old question. What's your favorite thing in the club room? And also, the thing I associate you with is Tamora Pierce books.
Yeah.
Because you seem to read a lot of those. Do you have a Tamora Pierce book in
to
your bag?
To the listeners, I am currently opening my bag to reveal the Tamora Pierce book I have in.
What is it about Tamora Pierce books?
So
They got words in from what I'm aware of.
Big if true.
yeah. No, that's it. They have words in them.
Okay, well,
I've heard good
job done.
things.
we've come to the end of the pot. No.
Okay, so no. So, I would say my two favorite English authors, my two favorite English novel authors are Terry Pratchett and Tamora Pierce.
Fair.
The reason why I like Tamora Pierce so much is like with most media I read, it was in high school because that's when I had time and hands to read. But Tomorrow Pierce, most of her books are essentially young adult coming to age books, and very nice soft fantasy books. But what she is a master at is that her books are just readable. She has some sort of very good, like, the way her books flow, how the words flow. It's really easy just to read and, like, get the concepts in your head.
Smooth prose.
Yeah, smooth prose.
Nice.
Oh, that's really nice
Yeah.
to hear. That's
an underrated thing with
That is a really underrated thing.
I'll read a clunky sentence.
I've started trying to read God is the Moon, which is the first book in Malazan, Book of the Fallen, which is like this 10-part epic fantasy,
man.
which I've heard is really good.
That's one of those series that my friend Dave, I love Dave, he's on a whole different level of consuming things content-wise than I am, in that he'll read sorry.
No, you can keep going.
Launched my mic across the room. I do want to get back to Malazan, Book of the Fallen.
No, that's fine.
But just for a brief description of Dave, what's that new Paradox-like game that's been released, which it's like billed as like a space fleet simulator, right? I know a couple people that were playing it, and one of them was 20 hours in, and he hadn't left his home planet.
Oh, yeah.
Because you've got to really manage the politics there before you can even get to launch to space. Like, hadn't even found the button on the UI that says go to space, right? 20 hours in. Horrifically dense, like, management of your whole setup. Dave's the kind of guy, he loves that kind of shit. And I respect the hell out of that. But yeah, he does recommend Malazan, Book of the Fallen. There's some characters from that whole series that I think are very fun, that I've seen him use for RPGs and things.
I'm into it so far, and I'm like, this isn't...
Oh, you'll get to meet Dave in Lancer.
Yeah, I will.
Hell yeah.
And Cam.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Different experience.
I'm excited for my mech, the Come At Me Bro, or the Cam.
Yeah, you've picked a name that'll be as confusing as possible.
I think it'd be really funny just if you just say Cam.
Yeah, the Camb.
No, there needs to be like a longer gap between the Cam.
Camb?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I've done similar things before.
Dang it.
Shout out to Gumb, the world's most garbage servitor.
Was that in a Destiny RPG?
No. It was a 40k. It was a Rogue Trader game.
Oh, okay.
They used it as a herald, and it had its brain significantly damaged. That's how it is with servitors in 40k.
Yeah, Malazan's it feels a little clunky, and I'm like, I'm missing easy to read media.
Yeah, it's certainly... It gives me the vibe of like a Dave book, which is to say that if you get into it, it'll be great, but it will be like... You've got to read it with the mindset of one of those machines that grinds rocks. Where you got to start grinding rocks, and you got to keep going until you get to the gems. And that's not what you want to do all the time.
True.
Right? If that's the kind of reading you like to do, and sometimes I fucking feel that. Sometimes I'm down to grind some rocks, because that's honestly like, I can grind some fucking rocks, right?
You did read Lord of the Rings in like 3 days.
I did read Lord of the Rings in like 3 days. Yeah. Sometimes I'll break out one of the big Sanderson books, and I'll be like, alright, I can get this done in like less than a day.
I don't know. See, the thing is, I learned about Malazan by looking online of like books similar to Brandon Sanderson, like the Stormlight Archive, and this was like one of the main ones that recommended. It was like, it's similar, but also like it's a little bit harder to get through.
Oh, for sure.
Or it's a little bit kind of more.
It's denser. It's
denser.
gritty. Not grittier, but it's clunkier, right?
Clunky.
There's
it's
chunks
like,
in it. Sometimes you will again. Like Sanderson, you can take a rock grinding drill through like sandstone, right?
Yeah,
and it's good. I like to do that. You can also take it through rocks. It's just harder.
Yeah. I think maybe I'm being too hard on it because I'm not even. I'd say I'm not even past chapter 1, but the chapters are fucking long.
Look, if you're gonna get into a 10-book fucking
I know,
saga,
that's what I'm thinking.
You gotta be in the right mindset for that. If you're like, oh look, this is feeling a little fucking chunky for me, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to push through this one. You want to stop early in a 10-book saga, bud.
Yeah, I realize I'm reading a 10-book epic fantasy written probably like 20 years ago.
I think that's what happened to me, right? I haven't read Malazan, Book of the Fallen. I think I tried and had a similar experience.
20 years, like, it was written 20 years ago. It's a 10-book epic fantasy. I realized right now that I have not even started the book. The amount I've written, I have not started. I may as well be on the prologue.
Yeah. It's like that sometimes.
The guy at, who's the guy that, like, is in White Dwarf books?
Oh, and
Like
White
his
Dwarf,
recommendations.
Stefan?
No, that's Stefan from Stefan's
Yeah,
books.
okay.
White Dwarf books.
I'm
Is it
sorry.
Tim?
It might be.
I
I can
remember
only
when
remember
picked,
Stefan's name because it's on the store.
Yeah, I remember when I picked this up. I think he said it was the greatest. It was the greatest like fantasy series currently ever written.
Yeah.
Until Stormlight Archive is finished.
Fair enough. I'd believe that.
So you know what? I'm hyped to read it now.
One day I'll have the mindset to reread and finish Wheel of Time. The issue with Wheel of Time is that fuck, some of it's dry. And I'm not just talking about the like years long drought that happens in setting.
I thought, wasn't there one of the books is like this massive chunky book and it takes over the place of like 3 days?
Yeah. The issue with, so you know how, okay, let's talk about sci-fi and fantasy for a bit here in the club room on the podcast.
I was just going to bring up the fact that my alternative to reading Malazan right now, or Gunners of the Moon, was reading Eye of the World.
Okay, so
this is the first book in Wheel
the
of
thing
Time.
with Wheel of Time is that so you've read some Sanderson. For those of you who haven't, Sanderson's books, and specifically the Stormlight Archive, which I do very much recommend,
Oh god, I recommend
has
it
a
so
lot
much.
of a lot of side bits with characters that you'll only see occasionally, or like you'll only see once even. In the intermissions usually, and they're wonderful.
Shout out
they
to
really,
the guy from the Pure Lake.
right? Guy from the Pure Lake.
This is from literally the
Ishik,
first
I think.
intermission,
Yeah.
so don't feel too bad.
There's well, I just read the first intermission with Mel. Yeah, like there's these little characters that flesh out the world in little ways, but also show what's happening in the greater like setting. Because you know the main characters are usually clustered in one place.
Yes.
And so this gives you an idea of what's happening elsewhere in the world and like the developing thing. This is there is a reason that Sanderson was chosen to finish off the Wheel of Time when Robert Jordan died, in that he has sort of perfected what Robert Jordan was doing. Robert Jordan does this for I don't know if it's more than half of the chapters. It certainly fucking feels like it. More than half of the chapters are full length chapters about fucking dudes that you just want to hear more about Matt Cawthorne. It's like, fuck me. I'm in book 7, book 8. I would love to hear more about Matt Cawthorne, one of the three protagonists of like the three core protagonists of the book. But I won't. I will not get to. You do not get to hear more about Matt Cawthorne today. You have to hear about fucking, I don't know, probably Perrin. Perrin's a protagonist. He's a main character. It's fine. Perrin will do, right? You'll love to get a Perrin chapter because it's about the main characters. But there's a lot of just like, boy, I do not care as much as I wish. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and reread that and I'll really enjoy it, like with Lord of the Rings, when it was like, oh no, this is way better now that I'm a whole ass adult. There are people who give you like reading orders for for the Wheel of Time. There is the Tavaren only, which is your protagonist, where you only read the chapters for them, and it like fucking cuts the series into a fraction of the size, and it's like, here's just the important people, because that's what Tavaren are. They're important to the fabric of the Wheel of Time.
Roll credits.
Yeah. But yeah, like, and it cuts the book into a tiny fraction of a thing, and there was like there's the joke one, which is the no Tavaren route, where you take out the Tavaren, you take out like all of the most important characters, and you go, okay, we're just gonna see regular people reacting to the world having horrible events change it. And it would suck, is the thing, right? You don't want to read that. It would be an interesting thing to read for like world building ideas and stuff, like, and like as a way of seeing how worlds and think like as a thought experiment, but fuck, it would be no fun to read, I'm sure.
I heard somewhere that like the best or the worst thing you can do when writing is, or I don't know, an issue, I guess, is have like characters which are good, but then other characters or chapters feel like they're pulling you away from what you want to see. And I feel like this happens in the first Stormlight Archive book, The Way of Kings. However, I get the sense it happens about different characters to different people.
Yes, it
which
does.
It's very funny.
Yes. The Stormlight Archive series is a very, like, it's an ensemble cast. You get each book focuses on another member of the cast. With
Each book focuses on 3 main characters,
well,
generally.
there's the 3 main characters, but then each book has, like, a focal character as well.
No.
Here's
the thing about the Stormlight Archive. The Stormlight Archive has, like, 10 main characters.
Yes.
But focusing on 10 main characters in the first book doesn't make any sense. So the first book focuses on 3, but they're not the only 3.
No.
And then each book after focuses on 3, which may include some, or all of the other 3. Like,
it adds more people in.
Book 4 focuses on like 1 or 2 of the has like 4 main characters.
Look, I don't remember anymore.
Has like 4 main characters, and I feel like I know at least one of the main characters from the first book isn't a main character in the.
But like, imagine if the
main
Stormlight
POV
Archive
character
was more than half intermissions. You'd hate them.
I fucking hate them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great as they are because they're in little chunks, little bite-sized chunks. And you're like, I've read a regular book-sized amount of content about the main characters. Now here's a little bit about the dude who has tattoos that he can move around on his skin and is like categorizing every kind of little dude. That guy's great. I love that guy. I've seen him maybe twice.
Aww.
In 4 books, but it's like, that's just one dude out there. It's fine. He's not important. I don't mind that I've only seen him twice. I'm not like, I fucking need to hear more about this guy. It's not like he's Matt fucking Cawthon. Sorry, Matt Cawthon is like 100% the best character in Wheel of Time, and that's not like negotiable or like controversial.
Luna, can you negotiate or controverse that?
Have you read Wheel of Time?
I have not.
Okay,
Right.
well, neither have I, so, yeah.
I have not read the Wheel of Time or the Stormlight Archives. This entire conversation has been lost on me.
So, like, the 3 protagonists of Wheel of Time, like, the three primary protagonists, because there's a lot of protagonists in Wheel of Time as well, and it gets better about handling how some of that works later on. Like, Sanderson
fantasy.
really improves that series, like, right at the end, which is quite nice.
Luna, if you read Stormlight Archive, tell me which main character you are sad when it pulls away from. For me, it was Kaladin.
Right. Yeah.
I
always want to hear more about Kaladin.
I'll try, but my hands literally don't let me open books properly.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. I'm sorry, friend.
Yeah. This is why I just managed to start reading again with Tomorrow Pierce, but her books are big and she is very readable, which lets my broken hands and broken minds read for short amounts of time.
Fair enough, yeah. Maybe we weren't forcing you with 10 books epic fantasy that
Yeah,
they
they're
have to
big
split
fucking
the books
books
in half.
too. But yeah, God, yeah,
I have an announcement to make.
yeah.
Shadow the Head. No, it's our 10 episode anniversary.
Is that anniversary?
Yeah,
All right.
it's 10. We're 10 episodes in. I never thought we'd make it this far, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's going fucking well.
I did think I thought we'd make it like at least 10, to be honest. 100 was probably the next anniversary.
I'm always one who errs on the side of caution. I got that brain that's like, things can and will go wrong, and I'm like, that's a solid point, little guy.
No,
It's pretty good.
I agree.
I'm very proud of us.
The thing is, when I was like, I think I can make a podcast with this, like looking at the thing, I'm like, yeah, actually, this is really easy. There's no reason why this can't happen and happen regularly, apart from twice the hours. I say, Luna, you listen to like you're like one of the few people in my mind. You're in like this elite class in my mind of like regular, dedicated listeners to this podcast.
I have listened to all of it.
This could be you.
The hilarious thing, the reason why I think that is because I often instantly replied whenever a new podcast came up.
Yes, you do. You are very fast with the podcasts.
The thing is, most of the time it's just coincidence. One of the time I literally was on my computer for 2 minutes because I just had breakfast when the podcast came up.
Nice.
It's
You
like,
think it's a coincidence? John's just checking.
Yeah.
The moment you're online, bam, podcast.
Amelia is already secretly watching me in my room. I don't need a second person.
I'm not gonna ask about that. I always feel like. So, Luna, have you listened to every episode?
Yes.
Okay.
Wrong. You haven't listened to this one yet.
I reckon.
Incorrect, I have.
No, that's true.
I
You have
reckon-
to listen to this one.
Cam, how does it feel to have listened to the least amount of episodes out of everyone in this room?
Neutral.
Interesting.
I mean, like, feel neutral about many things.
I think this is the perfect time to rest on our laurels and
yeah, for sure.
and say, what's the best moment that's happened in the podcast so far?
I think now recording this podcast episode is the perfect time for me to listen to the other podcast. Hold on, you mind if I just...
I'll call up Texas and Chase. You can recreate it. We need favorite bits. I reckon all four of us need to give a favorite bit of the podcast.
Oh, Christ, why would you do this to me and Doug?
Huh? I do it to Doug because I once heard he listened to the podcast in somewhere that wasn't the bus or at home. He listened to it in a bathroom stall. He played it out loud. I got a complaint.
I don't think there are places that aren't at home or on the bus.
He lives in the toilet on the bus toilet. He lives on one of the buses that have bathrooms, and he played it out loud.
So what you were telling me is that you're upset that he listened to it at home and on the bus.
I got upset that he listened to it in a public place. There was other people on this bus. He played it out loud.
John, I don't know.
I
got
an
how
email.
To tell you about buses.
I got
John.
an email from sue.mary3@gmail.com. I got an upset email. Right, I was like, I got an upset email and also a video of a opening for a kids TV show in the same email, and it upset me. I can't.
I'm sorry about that, man.
Well, don't apologize to me. Apologize to sue.mary3@gmail.com.
No, I'm sorry that you got emailed.
Oh,
that
yeah.
sucks.
Yeah.
Imagine sending an email. Couldn't be me. I do that at work.
Listeners to this podcast, please send an email to Cam.
Good luck.
I don't know what his email address is.
Yeah, you can send an email. I will simply not. I might interact with it. I don't know. That's the thing. If I get an email from someone who listens to this podcast, that's probably an improvement on any other email I could get.
Fair enough. My favorite bit of this podcast was educational Breaking Bad. That had me laughing for a long time.
Oh God, you always do. You're like, Cam, here. What's your favorite thing? And I'm like, fuck off. I cannot.
My favorite episode of the podcast was the one you weren't on.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, it wasn't my favorite episode, or it might be. I don't know. It was funny.
Yeah. No, I mean,
listen to episode 2 of fuck.
My favorite part of the podcast is that you keep asking me what my favorite things are, and I have to keep being like, fuck, dude, stop.
Go listen to episode 2 of this podcast. Delete Terraria. That's not the name of the podcast, that's the name of the episode. Luna, do you have a favorite thing? God, I'm really...
In this podcast or in general?
Go
ahead, in general.
Both.
So in this podcast, it's when you made the first bit of the podcast and had to look it up, even though you showed us why immediately before the podcast, potentially in it, depending on how you edit it, the list of things you prepared.
Well, no, I was just looking up if you could find Sickly Deer. Whether you could find the little headshot of him. You can't. You can find the model of Sickly Deer.
I just really love the dichotomy. It's like, I came prepared and immediately have to
I
say
immediately did not come very prepared.
Okay, so I'm going to go top 5 favorite things about the podcast.
Cam, you son of a bitch. Cam, you son of a...
Doug bit. Every time I pretend to eat the microphone and it bothers you. Jackie Chan. Shit.
Luna, not you too. Luna, what's your favorite thing in general?
Anytime anyone asks me to list any number of things, I'm just going to get them with the Jackie Chan bit. It's for me now. I don't do this for you, Cam. The audience. I hope you're enjoying it, but it's not about you. This one's for Cam.
What about me? It isn't fair. What? Cam Luna, what's your favorite thing in general?
I mean, probably a game or media series that I have obsessed over.
Magic the Gathering, got it.
Sitting down.
Oh yeah, that sure is something I've obsessed over.
Fucking love to sit.
I don't. My legs break when I do that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Luna, everything.
The act of sitting or being neutrally sitting?
Sit both.
Fair enough. That's rough.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What do we all think of Sandwich Quest?
Yeah, it's alright.
Yeah. This happened before. The people listening to this podcast would have no idea what it is.
Okay,
unless they know
I can
what it is.
explain what the sandwich quest
the
is.
TF2 voice actors going on the quest for sandwich.
Yeah, the TF2 voice actors have traveled to Twin Peaks, USA, and are in search for a sandwich. There is like 9 videos there, are quite funny.
That sure is the Team Fortress 2 fucking voice acting.
They really got every single one except Scout.
An engineer.
Yeah,
And engineer. And soldier because he's dead.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I think my favorite voice actor bit recently is the Halo announcer. They got him to say a few fucking bits, and they gave him a few lines, and he was like, "All right, I don't know which tones you want me to go for, so I'm going to give you 3 different readings of each of these," and just fucking went. It was great. Hearing the Halo announcer say, "No maidens, no maidens, no maidens," fucking spectacular.
It's like one of my favorite voice actors.
Skill issue.
This wasn't even a bit. It was in a Hearthstone thing. The person who does the innkeeper voice, it's like very deep, very like boisterous. It's hard. I don't know.
I
how
know,
to
it's a
describe.
dwarf
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah. Dude just sounds like a normal man.
Yeah,
Slightly Scottish accent.
most people do.
Normal man. And then in the play, he's just talking normally, and it doesn't have a name clock come up describing what he is.
so it's
Talking
just a
normally
guy.
and just goes into the innkeeper voice perfectly, like from normal voice, slowly ramping up the innkeeper voice. Like, wait, holy! It's like that's the innkeeper.
Pull up a chair by the hearth. No, it's not. It's not the exact same.
Yeah.
It's the closest I can get.
I can't pull out Scottish accents on the fly. Like I could get to them, but it's not something I can do quickly and cleanly.
I think mine I could start with, but then it like goes off immediately. It just becomes general,
Yeah.
like UK accent.
It's not one of the accents that I'm like very confident doing.
I'm consulting my list, and I've got like a couple here which are specifically shows that like Merlin and I have watched, and it's not here. So
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Cam, I love having you here. Don't worry about it. I do enjoy sometimes I put question marks at the end, so I just have Magic the Gathering question mark. Magic the Gathering question mark.
They've gathered it.
They have gathered it.
Magic it's all in one place now. It's gathered. I think they should make that as the
I think
sequel
it's
to
called
Magic the
Magic
Gathering.
Online. No, not really. There's cards missing. You can't get like new Commander products in Moto Magic the Gathering Online. This isn't to be confused with Magic the Gathering Arena.
Yeah, there's different kinds of Magic out there.
There's a lot of Magic out there.
One day we'll do the fucking like the oldie.
Do you believe in
leagues. Nah.
Even in a young girl's heart. Dang.
I don't think young girls are the demographic for Magic the
Get
Gathering.
that shit out of there. There's about to be blood in there. Put the blood back right now.
No, I'm stuffing it full of cardboard.
No, that's not magic either.
Huh? Yes, it is. It's just cardboard. They didn't do. It's just cardboard, Cam.
Cardboard's magic?
Yeah, the magic is just pieces of cardboard. You don't have to pay.
Card game's not real, John. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just for TV.
It's like Pokemon. It's just for TV.
Yeah, well, no, Pokemon are real, but the cards aren't.
Classic mistake.
Yeah, rookie error.
The only other thing I have left on my list is Overwatch 2, because Luna and I have been playing lots of Overwatch 2 recently. God, I hated Overwatch for such a long time, and I'm like, I'll give it a try. And oh, this is still fun.
Overwatch is what you get when you need to check the overtime. Look at your Overwatch. Because
I'm so bad at choosing when to dive when overtime happens. I think I need an Overwatch.
nice.
Game's fun, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Cormac, friend of the show, explained it to me. Like, they've in order to make the game fun, they removed so many things that were like interesting and good about Overwatch.
No, that makes sense.
Which is very funny to me because it's like
they backed themselves into 14 different corners and were like, we should just leave those corners, and now people are upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, we're gonna leave the corners, and it's like, okay, well, the game's not what it. Like, the game's different now, and they've removed
They've
a lot
taken
of good
away a
things
lot of
about
cool
it.
things that
But
were
it's
unique.
also
but now
funner.
It's better.
It's like, I understand why people who are obsessive with the game don't like it, but I'm not I come to Overwatch because I want to shoot people.
Yeah.
Normally teammates, because I main Ana. So it's like, in terms of I jump in and shoot people,
Yeah. The
it's a
core
game.
gameplay loop's the
The
same.
people who are really dedicated to Overwatch might have annoyed them, but
Yeah.
the issue was how many people were really dedicated to Overwatch anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Balancing games when there's things like classes that are different to each other is so fucking hard. I know Destiny's having an issue with that right now. I've been having a lot of discussions. Turns out that if you have one ability that's free, that ability is going to break everything.
What ability?
Balance-wise, throwing hammer from Titans.
I fucking hate throwing hammer.
Yeah, well, it does too
Christ.
much, and it's free.
It pisses me off so much in PvP.
The problem is they couldn't, if they got rid of all of the things that it did, to the point where it was not like an ability anymore, and it was just like a hammer that you get for free, it would still you'd have to get rid of everything for it not to be fucking busted. Because if it is a charged melee that you can get back by picking it up, you have infinite charged melees, and if you can build a build that'll make that broken no matter what. You can't avoid it. But if they were to take away throwing hammers, the ability to pick it up when it's on the ground, people would be upset. And so they're really stuck in that corner.
Yeah.
Personally, I think if you kill something with a hammer, it shouldn't come back. I think that'd be a start. Because then you get, your charged melee kill once per throwing hammer.
I feel like I don't actually know exactly how hammer works. We can maybe talk about Destiny balance.
Yeah, you throw it, and if it hits something, it ricochets off, and if it doesn't, it bounces a little bit, and you can go pick it up and throw it again. It's the hammer.
Yeah, I'm going to talk to Merlin about some things. So the end of Players. How was that? Yeah, it was pretty good. I really enjoyed the ending of Players. A mockumentary. Well, Players is a mockumentary, right?
They actually revealed in the post-credits scene that it's not a mockumentary; it was a real documentary. All of that happened.
It could have happened. It could have happened. To be honest, I follow North American League. I see what's happening in North American League of Legends. It could have. It really could have if you've been watching League of Legends Worlds. The other thing, Heartbreak High is a show we both watched. Good show.
Yeah, I saw bits of that here and there.
Yeah. It's like teen drama show.
It's a remake of an old Australian show called Heartbreak High about a high school where some stuff happens. And now it's about a modern high school where some similar stuff happens, but not the same stuff.
Good show.
Yeah.
Worth the watch. God, I had so many things on my list. I can gush about Outer Wilds for some more. Best game of all time.
Are you finally out?
Huh?
Can
What? No, you guys could have talked for ages.
I could never have talked. That doesn't sound
Luna,
like
did
me.
you have something you've been dying to say for the past 1 hour and 20 minutes?
Not really, but I have something that I have prepared.
Okay, hell
go.
yeah.
Because you told me to come to this, I'm prepared, but unfortunately I prepared something before you told me to come.
Well, no,
I
hold
said-
on. No, get out.
Okay, to clarify, I
No,
say
you can-
you can prepare if you'd like, but it's not a requirement.
No, it's like... So, I said that Tomorrow Pierce, Terry Pratchett, two of my favorite authors.
Is it your favorite English authors?
Yeah.
Go
So-
on.
I read things of other languages.
I
translated because I can't do them. And some of it's manga.
Haha, weeb.
Yeah.
Look, okay, I literally talked about the manga I was really enjoying last time I was on the podcast, so you're excused.
Yeah.
I'm completely
This is,
illiterate.
okay, I need to specify. There's nothing wrong with enjoying manga.
No, it's not.
It's fine. It's just it's a piece of media. It's good.
No,
to
if
be
you
honest.
enjoy
Yeah.
manga, LeMayo.
Honestly, a lot of it is not good, and
That's true with
It can,
everything,
it
to be
can,
fair.
well, that's a lot of media.
Sturgeon's Law is very, very real.
There's nothing wrong with
90%
enjoying
of
manga.
everything
Go,
is
Go
crud.
have fun.
the annoying thing is that in the industry, things like sexism and transphobia is still very big, which is annoying. And I'm like really glad my favorite one is like mostly not that, but occasionally.
Yeah, what is it? Which one?
It's a manga called World Trigger.
I think
Rings
I've
a
heard
bell.
of it.
Yeah, it rings a bell.
Yeah, it's probably because I recommended it on the UniSFA Discord.
You might have. I feel like
Yeah.
I've just heard it before that.
Yeah, author is Dashiki Ashihara.
That also rings a bell.
So, someone who somehow has more health problems than all of the people in this room.
There's some fucking manga artists be having health problems.
Yeah,
though.
dude's neck doesn't work.
Oof.
As well
Wow.
as several other of his body parts. The wiki literally has a list.
That's fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, so what the manga is about, it's essentially it's hard to one of the things it's hard to describe because it's kind of doesn't follow conventional
Yeah.
structure, but not in a I'm trying to subvert it way, but in a I just made my
doing
own world
something
kind
else
of way.
Yeah. No, that's fun.
Basically, it's the premise is this is Japan, except there's a different dimension, which is called the neighborhood, which has this own magical energy source. They call it Tryon. Insert fantasy energy here. It lets them do some technology stuff. It's a really good energy source that is naturally computing. They started invading our world with monsters that are really hard to shoot with conventional weaponry, but there were good people that were actually from our side. It's complicated, that basically drove them back and created Border, which is the organization that's the self-defense force that stops invasions from happening. So that's the premise. It follows up to 4 main characters. This is another thing that's interesting about it, where
Good amount of main characters.
it's not about the main characters mostly. It's told through their perspective, but it's very clear, like from the author's comment and from how it's written, that it's more about the world than the people. And the people are important because they're part of the world. One of the things, like, the author was asked, who do you consider the main character? And the author replied with, I don't really consider anyone the main character, but if I were to say, it's these 4. And it lists the 4, which is quite hilarious, since one of them quite explicitly doesn't work as a main character. Like, in one of his prototype one-shots, he is meant to be the main character, but he acts like a background character, because that's just how his behavior and mannerisms and power set works. But, essentially, what is so appealing about the system is that so the author has made a super compelling world where, like, the world is fully developed from, like, all points of view, like technology, the people in it, like the social structures of all the things. Like,
Would you say when it came to the world building, he really pulled the trigger? Keep going.
The world trigger.
yeah.
Keep going. Sorry.
And
Good bit though.
and one of the things is the power system is fully internally consistent.
Oh, that's always good. That's very important.
Like,
Gotta have your rules.
as in, someone made a theory of how to combine a certain set of powers, because the way that, like, the border technology power works, it's modular in design, which is different from other neighbor technologies. They all have their own style depending on what country they're from. And modular design, so Borders 1 has a modular design, so a lot of their combat is about how to combine them. And someone thought about a very creative way to essentially combine a bounce pad with basically an energy sword. Basically, you throw the energy sword, it bounces off the bounce pads. So this person thought about this over 2 years before it became a thing in the main series.
Oh, sick. That's very cool.
Yeah. And it's just that internal consistency that makes it really fun to, like, think about.
I think you might have successfully sold me on this. If I see it in, like, a shop, I'll probably, like, buy it.
You could read it online. Like, Viz is a official distributor, and Manga
Viz.
Plus.
Yeah, they distributed Homestuck.
This does sound a little Homestuck.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I am a guy who's only read Homestuck.
Yeah. The other thing that's really good about the series is that the author is very conscientious about how much information is given at a time as to not overwhelm the readers. And
I love information so much.
I
Yeah.
hate information. Give me less. I need to think about
Fucking
only
what,
what's
you want
relevant.
you want this fucking new Lamborghini here, you fucking moron?
yeah,
It's about knowledge.
and the thing is, it's so information dense, but
Yeah.
he's very good at pacing it out. It's
Nice.
like in the early story drafts that in the extras, you could see how he essentially made comments where I had to change this scene because it introduced two different concepts at the same time, and that was too much, so I reduced it
That's
to
really
one.
good. One at
Yeah.
a time. This reminds me of the Stormlight Archive, to be honest. So if you like that, sorry. Oh,
There's also all the characters get fully developed.
yes.
There's a tertiary character who he's a background character to a secondary character team. It's like, he is very much tertiary, even quaternary character. He goes through an entire character arc in the background where he basically starts as like very impulsive, very emotive, and then he essentially learns how to like follow orders to be part of
Work as a team.
better planned schemes where he's not just going on emotions, he's actually working as a plan.
I fucking
and then-
love giving attention to like secondary background
Yeah.
characters. Like,
And then
most of my favorite characters. are,
we
like,
see
background
him
characters.
later where he is doing a plan which results in essentially him being sacrificed. The power system means that this isn't a problem. And it's a fight between allies, a mock fight, and the person essentially tries to goad him into doing something impulsive, and he calmly responds with, "I'm just doing my mission." And the guy who tried to goad him was he always this calm? Because dude is this his friend? He knows he used to be impulsive. And it's like just the amount of detail all these background characters who have history with each other growing.
Oh, that sounds really good and satisfying. That's what you want from media. I want to see the characters change and grow. This is like Media 101, but welcome to my class, I guess.
No, I like
It-
characters that are cubes that remain cubes.
You would like this series then, because a lot of people get turned into cubes.
I am looking at the
alright, I'm on
cover,
board
and
now.
the cover is a guy holding a cube.
Okay. One day I'll be a
yeah.
cube. I'm not even kidding. It'd be great.
You've mentioned this.
I know. I'm consistent about this one.
Like, one of the really cool things about the power system is essentially they are in virtual bodies, which means that, like, wounds basically only matter tactically to them, because after the battle, they just regenerate a new body.
Huh.
It's a tactical disadvantage because you're missing a limb, you fight worse, but they only need to worry about it for the duration of the battle. So they could do... So the author's really good at making strategic fights. So there's things where where the fights are just extremely detailed. And a thing that a lot of battle shonen have problems with is like the character sacrifices themselves or like takes the actions that'll injure themselves to do something, and you always know they're gonna take it because this is a battle shonen. But in this series, it's like,
Yeah, they can just die.
yeah, there's no consequence. It's like Border,
There's no consequences, which means there can be consequences.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Border explicitly has a tech that makes them teleport back to base if they're defeated in the field.
Yeah.
Which makes it explicitly not a problem.
But
So-
yeah, but that
That's
also
kind of
means
cool
that
and
they
allowing
can.
for
Exactly.
yeah,
exactly.
bigger battle scenes and
So,
like, you know, where
first-
people are like getting cut down
Yeah.
and whatnot. without-
Firstly, strategically, this means that they just take wounds as strategic decisions.
I've thought about it, and getting shot in the leg, smart move.
This literally happened. It's like, I get shot in the leg, but I flushed out the sniper's position.
The enemy has opened fire.
Thumbs up.
Right, it was an old bit of 40k lore that everyone made fun of, because it was like, yes, when shot at, most men will duck for cover. Calgar will wait, assess the situation before deciding whether or not cover is the right play. And it's like, I am going to think about whether or not bullets will harm me. And it's like, that's a little more relevant because he is a space marine, like the heaviest armor, and he probably can't be harmed by most bullets, but it still sounds very stupid when you put it like, you know.
Yeah.
I
The fact that
That makes more sense in
Yeah.
in World Trigger, for sure.
yeah, and it's very strategic, big scale team combat.
Nice.
Half of the series, as it currently is a tournament arc, and it's done really well. It's like
That's impressive, because a
tournament
tournament arc
like
can go either way.
yeah, this is like, in my opinion, the archetypal example of how to do a tournament arc. But in one of it, there's commentators, and essentially in the battle, the combatants were showing extreme emotion because, like, they're extremely motivated to win for various personal reasons that you know about, that you learn about because you're reading it.
Yeah.
And one of the commentators asked the other commentator, they seem to be very motivated. You think this increases the chance of winning? And then the person who is the number 1 ranked agent in the thing goes, I'm sorry to say, but emotions do not determine the outcome of a fight. It's like strategy, skill, environment, and luck is what determines a fight.
Luck.
And
That
like
old.
the other person goes, but don't you think emotions play a part? And he responds with, sure, if they were equally matched, but it's so minor in comparison to everything else. And he goes, if emotions would determine who the winner is, I would never be number 1. And this is then followed up after the battle, after the person's defeated, where he goes, like, he essentially says that was a good, satisfying fight where people were trying their best. And the other commentator looks at him questionably because, like he said, it doesn't matter. He responds with, I never said I didn't like to see fights that are emotive. It's just
They're
not
good fights to watch. They're
Yeah.
just not, it's
It's
just not
not-
actually good for fighting. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, if you determine fights based on how emotive the person is, then your only conclusion is that whoever lost didn't want it enough.
That is what my football coach would tell me. Would tell the team sometimes.
It's a very football coach.
It is a
mentality.
very football coach of you gotta wanna win. The other team wanted it more.
Yeah.
You're right, man. I didn't want it that much.
You've gotten me excited over
Yeah.
a manga I'm probably not gonna read for a while. It's gonna be taunting my brain now.
Yeah. It's very good.
I shouldn't let emotion decide though. Also, you may have been wondered why I was looking at my phone that entire time while you're glancing at my phone. That is because I've got the Wikipedia page up, and Dasuki Ashihara doesn't have a Wikipedia page.
Wait, really?
I guess that's one of the things about him that doesn't work. His Wikipedia page as well.
Yeah.
There's a Wikipedia page on the World Trigger Wiki.
FYI, there is an anime. The first season is not good at all.
Yeah, it's like that
Yeah,
sometimes,
it's
isn't it?
like the animation quality is just really bad, and the pacing is all wrong, and a lot of problems. Season 2 is amazing.
Oh, I've pacing problems. I've finished the first season of the new Lord of the Rings show last night. Talk about fucking pacing problems.
I don't know if talking about pacing. I don't know if we have time for you to
We don't.
go on a Lord of the Rings. We probably need to close it up soon, champs.
That's all right.
But we need final thoughts. But I was like, I had something in my brain, but it's been emptied. It's been flushed out by thinking about World Trigger tournament arcs.
I've never had anything in my brain.
Not even milk.
No, but how would milk go in there? It's not where milk goes. Milk is for the tummy, John.
Huh. Must be the milk in my brain.
Yeah, fair enough. You'd have to have milk in your brain to think milk goes in your brain.
I'm trying
This
so
is why
hard.
you can't
to
have a
remember.
final thought.
I'm trying so hard. I'm trying
Do you
so-
remember
the
21st
21st
night
of September? It's not kind of.
That's all
Cam,
right.
give me a final thought.
No.
Luna, do you have any final thoughts?
There's just an error screen in my brain trying to generate a final thought.
Your final thought is error, I guess. Cam, your final thought can be the pink and black text used in Gary's mod.
Do-do-do-do.
Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do. Do-do-do.
If we get copyright struck, that'll be like a fucking highlight for me. I think that'll be sick.